say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Honor Guard, retire the colors. Please be seated. Good evening and welcome to the 7th Annual Tennessee Highway Patrol Trooper and Dispatcher of the Year ceremony. We're always excited for this event, but we are super excited for this year's ceremony because 2/3 of the people receiving awards tonight are being recognized for the first time. If you're wondering how to tell who those people are, you can look at our programs and figure it out pretty easily. If you look at the photos, most, but not all of them, they have no hair. They're the ones with the shiny heads. If this is your first time receiving an award, congratulations and welcome to the club. As we begin tonight's event, it is my pleasure to introduce my boss, Colonel Tracy Trott. I always struggle when it comes time to introduce him. Reading his bio would be too easy. Most of you have heard it at some point anyway, so I like to tell you things about him that you don't already know. And for some reason, this usually makes him nervous. He joined the Tennessee Highway Patrol in 1978. That's 4 years before I was born, and I bet before a lot of you were born as well. As most of you know, he became colonel in September of 2010. That's 7.5 years he's led the THP. What you probably don't know is that he is the second longest tenured colonel who is currently commanding a state patrol. Chief Batiste of the Washington State Patrol is the only person with more time as colonel than Colonel Trott. His 7.5 years as colonel are also approaching another milestone. He has served as colonel of the Tennessee Highway Patrol longer than any commander, other than our dear friend, retired Colonel Charlie Danner, who passed away last year. For the past 7.5 years, I've worked by his side, doing everything I could to help make he and our organization look good. The other day, Commissioner Perky asked me how long I've been working for him, and if he'd ever made me so mad that I just walked out on him, just picked up my purse and left. I thought about it for a minute, and there was really only one time he made me mad, per se, but I didn't speak to him for about 72 hours, but I never walked out on him. And that got me to thinking, we've worked together for 7.5 years, and I don't know how he's put up with me for so long. He's a pretty good boss. He's easygoing. He's very accommodating when I want or need to take time off. He tells me when I'm doing a good job, and more importantly, when I'm right. He believes in me. He assigns me tasks that he trusts I will handle and encourages me to be the leader he knows I can be. Although he does manage to jam his printer quite often, he needs me to help him print his Excel spreadsheets all on one page. And I can always count on him to ask me if I still have an important email that he's already deleted. But otherwise, he's pretty low maintenance. I wish I could tell you how many people have said these words to me. Colonel Trott is the best colonel the THP has ever had. And over the years, it has been so many people, I could not possibly count them all. But I couldn't agree with them more. Last August, I graduated from the Department of Safety's Commissioner's Leadership Academy. At our commencement, Chief Learning Officer Dr. Trish Holliday gave the keynote address. She referenced an occasion when she was in leadership training class. They were given blank note cards and instructed to write the name of someone who they feel has outstanding leadership skills and who has mentored them. She recalled thinking, how do I get my name on someone's card? How do I be that person? She gave me and my classmates blank note cards and challenged us to figure out what we need to do to become that leader, the person whose name someone writes on that card. I am proud to say that the name on my card is Colonel Tracy Trott. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to introduce you to your Colonel, Colonel Tracy Trott.
Thank you, Jessica. I want to welcome everybody here tonight to our annual Trooper and Dispatcher of the Year banquet. This, along with cadet graduations, are my favorite events of the year. It's an opportunity for us to say thank you for the great effort to save lives in Tennessee by the members of the THP. There are a lot of people to thank, but first and foremost, I want to thank my executive assistants, Jessica, who you just heard from, and April Buell, who really, if it wasn't for them, none of you would have a seat here tonight and none of you would get anything to eat. So thank you, ladies. I also want to thank Commissioner Perky for his support of the THP and his willingness to recognize excellence like we will tonight. And I also want to mention Commissioner Bill Gibbons, who's here with us. He allowed us to begin this event several years ago, and we thought long and hard about it, if we could justify the money that we would spend and how it would look to media or other people that had eyes on the organization. And we just thought it was necessary to recognize our troopers for the hard work, and it's paid off in encouragement and motivation for the work they've done in future times and years. So thank you, Commissioner Gibbons. I also want to thank my command staff and district and unit captains for their leadership and hard work through 2017. It really takes all of us on both sides of the house to make this thing work. There are some special guests here that I want to take just a couple minutes. Commissioner Perky will recognize some of them, and I've got some on my list to recognize. First at my table, I've got I call him my public relations guy, but really he's the founder of the Road Law Gang, Charlie Gaddis, retired trooper. Thank you, Charlie, for being here. We have Captain Robert Bingham and retired Major Phil Harden. They're out in the crowd. Y'all wait to raise your hands there. It's good to have you all guys here. We have some special guests from the law enforcement community. Rutherford County Sheriff Mike Fitzhugh. Mike, thank you for being here. Murfreesboro Chief of Police Mike Bowen is somewhere in the crowd. Mike, where are you? Yes, Mike, thank you very much. And a great supporter of the Highway Patrol and the former director of the Tennessee Highway Safety Office, a really good friend to me and the patrol, and really probably wouldn't have got Coach Fulmer here without him, Kendall Poole and his wife Tammy. Thank you, Kendall. We have a couple of our chaplains here, Jim Ennis and Danny Ricker. We want to thank them for their support, being here. We have a group of our Tennessee Highway Patrol Explorers in the back. We want to say thank you to you guys, and maybe one of these days you'll wear a uniform and get an award in this banquet too, so we're looking forward to those days. And we also want to thank some of our Citizens Academy people who have assisted April and Jessica in the event planning and execution of tonight. Also here is Shane Petty, the Chief Park Ranger for the state of Tennessee. Shane, thank you for being here. Now, on to tonight's activities. We have 30 enforcement awards, 6 lifesaver awards, trooper, investigator, interdiction, commercial vehicle, and administrative trooper of the year awards, along with dispatcher of the year to recognize tonight. We also have probably the best keynote speaker we've ever had in Coach Philip Fulmer, and we can't thank you enough for being here, Coach. And for all you Alabama fans out here, you can leave now. That's for you, McAllister. 2017 was a very good year for the THP. We kept our fatalities at a flat rate while the country experienced about a 10 to 12% increase. We asked our troopers to maintain their work in DUI and seatbelt enforcement while expanding our enforcement in hazardous movement violations and distracted driving, which has become an epidemic in our state and country. And you responded with a 27% increase in hazardous movement violations, a 20% increase in distracted driving violations. And I continue to marvel at the increase every year with our felony arrests that include the interruption of large criminal enterprises with drugs, cash, identity crimes, and human trafficking. Felony arrests increased 27% in 2017. Now, I can overload you with stats, but one stat that tells you everything that we are about is that on average, 175 fewer people died on our highways during our administration and time together every year. For 7 full calendar years together, that means you've saved over 1,200 lives with your work and your actions. I want to sincerely thank you for that. I hope all of you enjoy this night. This evening is really for you. And as you've heard Commissioner Gibbons say many times, and Commissioner Perky also, you are Tennessee's finest. Thank you. It's an honor to introduce the Commissioner of Safety and Homeland Security. Our commissioner is a man who has served his community and state for over 35 years. He has worked in the court system, the EMS field, as a law enforcement officer, and an elected county mayor for 16 years. There are many great things I could say about the commissioner, but 2 things that never leave my mind is that he's a former Tennessee State Trooper and that he cares so much about the Tennessee Highway Patrol. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Commissioner of Safety and Homeland Security, David Perky.
Well, good evening, everyone. It's a special ceremony every year, and my job is to recognize some more of our special guests and our friends, and make just a comment or 2 and get off the stage just as quick as I can, so I'll try to accommodate you. Let me introduce some top members of the staff of this department and really my right arms. our Deputy Commissioner and Chief of Staff, Dave McGriff. If you would throw your hand up when I introduce you. Our Deputy Commissioner and General Counsel, Roger Hutto, and his wife, Lou Ann. And Assistant Commissioner for DL Services, Lori Bullard. Also, I think our Budget Director, Sonia Hadley, is here. Sonia, are you? I don't see her. Director Vic Donahoe of the Tennessee Highway Safety Office. Three very special people to me. It's unusual tonight that we have 4 commissioners in the same room. Myself and my good friends, Bill Gibbons, throw your hand up, please. Commissioner David Mitchell, who is a great friend of mine and former Governor's Homeland Security Advisor like myself, and Commissioner Danny King. Throw your hand up. It's a personal honor for me that you're here tonight, and I appreciate you so much. Linda Russell, former policy assistant to the Commissioner, and now with the Memphis Crime Commission. Dr. Andre Bean, who is with the DOHR Talent Management, works with us so closely. These are important people to us, and we could not operate the department on a day-to-day basis without the experience and the lifetime achievements that they have brought to this department. Coach, Director of Athletics, is no bigger fan. I'm from Morristown, and I think about what you've brought to your position and what you mean to the state of Tennessee. And I'm going to make a very brief comparison here in a minute. Coach Fulmer found a university that was in turmoil, certainly the athletics department. They turned to someone who had a Tennessee heart from Winchester, who had the experience on the national level, who had the credibility on the national level, and had the ability to take a problem situation and make lemonade out of it. Immediately, this man calmed the waters and now has us on the road to a very successful athletics future. That's what I think about when I think about the Tennessee Highway Patrol. We are called when things are bad. I remember working the midnight shift as a trooper. There were only 3 of us. The main job in the Fall Branch District was to check the interstates for stranded drivers. Usually if you had a wreck, it was a bad wreck, and the Highway Patrol was called to work it. And that's what each of you do every day. That's what our dispatchers do every day. And we try our best to support you, because I can guarantee you, when things go bad in Chattanooga during the 2015 terrorist attack, when things go bad in Sevierville during the wildfires, and just the other night when tornadoes ripped this state, 5 different tornadoes, the Tennessee Highway Patrol was one of the first calls that people like Sheriff Mike Fitzhugh and Chief Mike Bowen make. So your role is important, and I equate it to a calming of the waters like this Tennessee patriot here has done since he has come back into the leadership of our university. I would leave you with this. I talked about my 3 predecessors. The only thing that kind of bothered me tonight is 3 different times I heard Tony Barham tell each one of them, "Man, we sure do miss you." Boy, you were really good for us. We've had a mess since you left. And I'll tell you, that's pretty discouraging for somebody that I went to the academy with 30 years ago. But times change, people change. I congratulate you on these awards tonight. This will be my last Trooper of the Year ceremony as I leave state government when the governor leaves in January. You're very special people to me. I don't have to tell you that as someone who has worn the uniform. I hope the advances of this department during this 8 years will continue to be at the forefront of what you do. And those 175 people that we are down in fatalities on average every year remain your first thought when you go about implementing the mission of the department. Thank you so much for the privilege to serve as your commissioner, and I wish you Godspeed. Thank you.
Right now, I'd like to invite the chaplain, Jim Ennis, to come forward and deliver the blessing. And then after he's done, please enjoy your meal, and we'll start the program after the meal. So thank you and enjoy. Jim?
Would you bow with me, please? Father, thank you for the opportunity that we can come together tonight, recognize these troopers and dispatchers that have gone above and beyond. And we ask you to bless this food to the nourishment of our bodies to your service. Father, I ask for an extra special blessing tonight for those troopers and those dispatchers that are on duty right now, and for all the families that are represented here, that they may be strong in the days to come, that we may also uplift them as they uplift us. We thank you for all that you've done and all that you have in store for us. In the name of Jesus Christ, amen.
First of all, I want to give a special thanks to Courtney Briley for our national anthem. Courtney, thank you very much. If you don't know, Courtney is Cheryl Sanders, Major Sanders' daughter, and her husband was a contestant on American Idol, and she's famous with us. So thank you, Courtney, for being here. All right, we've been doing this for, 6 or 7 years, and we've had some great keynote speakers, but probably this year we have outdone ourselves. I can't thank Kendall enough for helping us arrange that. And, the commissioner mentioned that this was his last banquet, and it's mine too. And there's no better way for us to go out by having the quality of speaker and the quality of person that we've got here tonight. Our keynote speaker really does not need an introduction, but I'm going to give him one anyway. He's been and is the face of Tennessee football going all the way back to his playing days in 1969 through 1971. He served as co-captain as a senior, and the Vols were 30-5 and won an SEC championship and a Sugar Bowl during his playing career. He served 17 years at the helm of the Volunteers program, producing a record of 152 and 52 losses. At the conclusion of his final season, no active coach with at least a decade of Division 1A had a better winning percentage of .744. Under his tutelage, the Vols were the first to win the Bowl Championship Series National Championship in 1998. I was at that game in Phoenix, and I told the coach earlier, it was probably one of the great thrills of my life to see Tennessee in person win a national championship. His teams made 5 appearances in the SEC championship game, winning in 97 and 98, and he was the SEC and National Coach of the Year in 1998. And as Commissioner Perkey detailed so eloquently, he's now assumed the role of Director of Athletics on December 1st, 2017, after serving as a special advisor to the University President, Joe DiPietro, for community athletics and university relations. He earned a first ballot induction into the National Football Foundation College Football Hall of Fame and has faithfully served the University of Tennessee for more than 40 years. It's really an unbelievable honor for the Commissioner and I to welcome our keynote speaker tonight, the Athletics Director of the University of Tennessee, Coach Philip Fulmer.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I hope you feel that way this time next year. I don't know, you know. I appreciate the introduction. I think it's so great that you come together like this to honor each other and to share time and effort. And I'm speaking from somebody that you serve, like, you know, that you take care of, and you know, we thank you for what you do. It's really special, and it's my honor to be here. Now, I don't know what Kendall Poole told you guys about getting me here. He had nothing to do with it. Just so we're all clear on that. No, he's a great friend. I appreciate him very much, and I'm glad to be here, honestly. And Colonel Trott mentioned our Alabama friends in the audience. I could say this for the Georgia friends as well. We were 11-5 against you guys, so I don't have to worry about you guys here tonight too much. So there's several of you here look like you could play right now. We need some help. So if you're interested in room, books, board, tuition, and fees, see me afterwards, and we'll see if we can get you started. I think it's great. I saw Ray Robinson and Trish. Where's Ray and Trish? Where are you? I coached Ray, and Trish coached us both, to be honest with you, because they was coming up. And I love Ray Robinson. I love me some Ray Robinson, I can tell you that. If you know him and know his family, you know what good is, because that's what he is. He and Trish both are good. They're just good people, been brought up right, wonderful family, and the toughest son of a gun I've ever coached, I think. And I mean that. You can tell from what he's just been through to be where he is right now. We were playing, who was it? Ray, Ole Miss, I think. And Ray had a lot of knee injuries and problems along the way, and it was our starting center. And I'll go back all the way. There's two things that happened in this whole process. One, Woodbury High School sends us a film, and the only thing you can see on the film of this great high school prospect and all the other people on the field is their legs. It's all, so whoever was filming it only filmed the level, the ground, and up to their, so the only reason we knew Ray was playing, who he was he was the center. And I said, well, I can't tell anything else, but he's got really good feet, you know. And so we go through the process and meet him, and he comes up, and we're thinking about offering him a scholarship. So I go to his hometown in Woodbury to see him. So I pull up in this, I think a big rental car is what it was. I could have been a undercover cop or something, because it's one of those big old Impalas, you know, that we used to have out there. And so I come up to this bridge, and I'm looking at this bridge, and I'm from Winchester now, so I know what country is, okay? Well, I am really in the country now. So I come up to this bridge, and it's like this, wooden bridge, and it's like this, and I'm just not sure, you know, that I can take this big car over it, and I may be on the wrong road. So I get out and walk up to the bridge and start jumping on it a little bit to see if it's going to fall with me. And I couldn't see the folks, but Ray and him were sitting up on the porch watching all of this. Hey, Coach, school bus comes over every day. It's okay, you know. So after we got through that and got him there, and Trish shows up, he had a wonderful career, and so proud of him, all that he's done. Colonel Trott mentioned, you know, folks that sometimes mentor folks, and I think it's so important to. I see some older folks here tonight. You know, you guys get gray hair and you shave it, and you can't tell how really old you are anymore. I think I'm gonna have to take that on as well. But there's some older and some younger here, and mentoring is so important, and passing down the things that we learn in life and in our chosen field, and certainly in sports, it's important. One of my mentoring experience was with a young punter named Dustin Colquitt. And if you followed Tennessee at all, you know about the Colquitt family. You know, there's Craig that played there and made all conference, went to the Steelers, played a couple years, or played several years in 2 Super Bowls with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And then there was Jimmy, was an all-SEC punter, had a little stint in pro football, and then Fast forward, Craig's children start coming up, Dustin and Britton. Most of this gray hair that I have, or what lack of hair I have, came from Britton Colquitt, just to tell you the truth. He was a handful, but we've got him in a good place now. But Dustin was the older of the two and was a real blessing to coach, but it started off on a little bit of a rough ground, because how hard was it to recruit Dustin Colquitt? He lived in Knoxville. His dad had played at Tennessee. Mom went to Tennessee. Had a great career. His mom and dad had a wonderful time at Tennessee. So the kid was coming to Tennessee, so didn't spend a lot of time recruiting him. On the phone a couple of ball games along the way, and our home visit was done in my office, because it was just easier for everybody. And so Dustin shows up as a freshman. He's 6'4", 215 pounds as a freshman. Big, strapping, good-looking guy, and he's a heck of an athlete. So first day of two-a-days come up, and he's over on the kicking field with the snappers and the holders, and I'm over here on this field, the big field, with all the real players, the offensive line, defensive line, linebackers, quarterbacks, and I'm watching what's going on. But I can't help but keep looking over there on the side and seeing Britton punting this football. And I'd seen him a little bit on tape, but not much. I heard he was a great punter. But he's kicking 60 yards high and 60 yards long, just kick after kick after kick. And I watched that the first day, and I watched it the second day, and I watched it the third day. And I'm thinking, man, we found us a punter. He's going to be really good. And we needed a punter. Our punter had graduated. And so I go in the fourth day in the morning meetings with the staff. I said, guys, I've been watching this kid for 3 days. When it comes, we had a scrimmage that day. When it comes to the kicking period, we're going to not put anybody up there. Usually you put your protection teams and the rush teams, and I don't want anybody up there but the snapper and the punter, and I want the whole team behind me with their coaches by your positions, and let's watch Dustin kick. And everybody will gain great confidence from him kicking the ball. And so it comes to that period, we line them all up there. Snapper makes a perfect snap to Dustin. And as you would expect, maybe the first punt from a freshman goes dead right off his foot. I mean, it's the worst punt in history. Bang. It goes off the side of his foot. Second punt, so he looks at me, he said, Coach, I'm okay, I got it. And so I'm kind of looking at him funny. I hadn't seen you kick one of those in 3 days. So his second one, he overcorrected, and hooked it, and it goes over, and it's the second worst punt in history, and goes over and hits the fence. I'm starting to get worried. Now I can hear the kids behind me just kind of mumbling, what's going on? Coach has lost his mind, and the coaches are thinking I've lost my mind. Third kick, he catches the ball, and he puts it on his foot a little bit on the high side, what we call a fat, like you hit a golf ball fat, something hit it fat on his foot. And it goes about 30 yards high and 30 yards long and hits on its nose and literally rolled back to the snapper. And now these kids are laughing. They think Coach is just going on. I said, Dustin, come here a minute. So I take Dustin, walk him over away from everybody. Dustin, I've been watching you for 3 days, and you kick after kick just wonderfully. And he said, Coach, I get really nervous. I said, what's the matter with you? He said, I get really nervous when you're watching me. I said, Dustin, I'm going to be at all the games now, man. We got to get past this. So I had lost a mentoring opportunity. How hard would it have been for me at some point in those first 3 days to walk my dumb rear end over there and hug this young kid's neck and pat him on the rear and encourage him a little bit to go and do well. It made him comfortable with me. The rest of it ended up great. He ended up having a really good freshman year and so on. But I think that's so important that we share what we've learned, that as experienced people we hand down. I tell my children all the time, you don't have to make the mistakes that I made if you'll learn to listen. So it kind of goes both ways. I started to ask ask for hands, but the colonel being here, I don't think I will, of how many of you have stopped me at some time or another in the last 30 years or 40 years, because I'm sure there's several of you, but you've been very nice. So it wasn't about Kendall, it was about me coming here to basically repay my debt, we usually just end up talking a little football. after I left coaching, and I love Tennessee. I mean, obviously I do. And the university or any institution in reality is bricks and mortar, right? It's the people inside that matter. And, when I left UT, I was hot. I wasn't a happy camper. And I felt like that with all that we had done, we maybe, had a chance to bounce back again, and we would have, and probably, it ended up working out. I guess I'll just leave it at that right now. But I thought I was, go take a job somewhere and hope, I guess, we get a chance to play against Tennessee. But I had to sit back and think about it a bit as in the bigger picture of things. Was I going to be happy at a place besides Tennessee? I had these beautiful children and now grandchildren at 58 years old. Was I going to be happy being somewhere else and them here? And then I said, I've missed so much with my children because it's a full-time job. And am I going to do the same thing with my grandchildren? So I decided to enjoy my children and grandchildren for a while. And I've loved it. I mean, I love coaching. I think we've made a difference in a lot of young men's lives. At 18, like I did, like Ray did, everybody does. You did probably. You think you know everything, and about a couple years after you're into it, you think, you know what, I might need to listen a little bit better and learn something. And hopefully they come out and, they're better citizens and husbands and fathers because they were with you. And I think we did that. But I made a big decision to leave coaching. I did a couple things, that were interesting. I told the group at the table, my real job was I was the assistant to the assistant that was the assistant Pee Wee baseball coach. That was my real job. And after I left coaching, and I loved that. I did CBS for a couple of years, if you had a chance to watch that. That was fun to do. You had 18 monitors in front of you, and they give you 10 seconds, to talk on television about it. And so it wasn't real hard. I really did CBS more than anything to just get out of town while Kiffin was there. So that worked out fine. I did a little bit in a movie. Many of you have seen The Blind Side. It was great movie, great story. Young man I had the kid, just so everybody, he was coming to Tennessee. I just never thought about adopting him. That was a brand new one on me, and I live and learn, I guess, in the recruiting world. But I had the kid. My wife doesn't particularly like for me to say this, but I hate they cut out the love scene in that movie, but it was fun. But that's a joke too. I did a little bit in the president's office, and I did enjoy that for a period of time. And now I'm back in a place. It's like we've been wandering through the desert, to be honest with you, for 7 or 8 or 9 years of whatever some of the decisions that we've made. And now I hope, as we talked about, we've stabilized and we're trying to move forward. And I think you're really going to like Jeremy Pruitt if you follow Tennessee. And I know you had some time coming up in your life. Maybe it was that PE teacher, maybe older, it was a coach somewhere that you loved, you respected, but you feared him because he'd put that paddle on your rear end if you didn't behave, didn't do like you're supposed to. That's Jeremy Pruitt. That's exactly what he's like. He's a no-nonsense guy. He loves to recruit. He loves football. He loves kids. But he expects them to be the right kind of person, and give the right kind of effort. So I've watched some of our off-season program, and you're going to be really excited. Now, it's going to take us a while. That's why I mentioned some of you big, burly guys. We might need you for a couple of years, but we're going to get to where we're going to get it right. We're going to get the University of Tennessee football back right and where it's supposed to be. Along the way, as a coach, or in your world as well, you're going to get humbled from time to time. I like to tell the story of in 1997, I'm going to preface this, we won the SEC championship that year, but we had just lost to Florida early in the season. And where I live in Maryville was, at the time, even more so than now, was kind of out in the country. And so had this favorite little grocery that also pumped your gas or did your windshield when you went in to get your gas or whatever. And they were my guys. They loved Tennessee. I mean, they loved me. They were supportive and everything. So this one morning, I wasn't particularly in a great mood, you know, as we got beat the day before and probably shouldn't have. And I get out, and this gentleman was walking out that I didn't know at all, and he obviously didn't know me either. He kind of spoke, and I went on in and got my coffee and newspaper, and I'm in a little bit of a hurry to get to my television show, and he's pumping the gas, and he sees my ring when I walk back out there. And he said, "Oh, you follow the Vols?" I said, "Yes, sir, I follow them pretty close, matter of fact." He says, "Well, what'd you think of the game yesterday?" Because I really wanted to have this conversation with this guy I didn't even know. And he was very respectable looking, elderly, probably doing it, you know, just to have a little job to meet people or whatever. And I wasn't going to be particularly rude at that point. And I said, "Well, you know, we didn't take care of the ball very well, didn't tackle, whatever I said to him." He says, "Well, I tell you what I think. Until they get rid of that Fulmer guy, they're never going to have a team over there." So I agreed with him and left. You know, I wasn't going to have that conversation, you know, with him. And fast forward, we win next week. We're back on track. I need gas again. I go in and pull up to the pump, and nobody comes out at that particular time. I go in, and there, one of the guys I knew comes out, and 3 or 4 of them in there having coffee. And I said, "Where's the guy that was here pumping gas last week? I'd like to see him." And he said, "Oh, Coach." He quit on the spot because when you came back in, he said, "Oh, we saw you talking to Coach." And he says, "That was Coach Fulmer." and he quit on the spot. So we all have to learn to make sure we know who we're talking to, right? Along the way when things come up, and you're going to get humble from time to time. We were talking about my roots in Winchester just a minute ago here, and you know, I'm so proud of my upbringing, and I had the greatest mom and dad you could ever imagine. My dad worked 2 jobs all of his life. I died much younger than he probably should have because I think he just worked himself to death. Stay-at-home mom, great Christian family, but we had this little cocoon, you know, that was around us. And we were talking about 2 men in my hometown, and there was several. And I think this is where we talk about serving, you know, like you guys do. There was people in the town that made a point to serve the youth, and that gave me a chance and gave several of us a chance to expose us to other things outside of our little cocoon. They brought the Fellowship of Christian Athletes to Franklin County, one of the first programs in the state of Tennessee after starting out in Kansas, they took us up to Vanderbilt to watch football games, down to Alabama to watch football games, and up to Tennessee, Tennessee State, Sewanee, Tennessee Tech, Austin Peay. We were always going somewhere, and these men made a difference in our lives, and you know that's fortunately what you guys do on a day-to-day basis. I think coaches can make a huge difference, and people in the community can make a huge difference. So if you get a chance, I joke about being the assistant to the assistant. It's one of the best things I've done because each year, in those years that I coached, there was 1 or 2 young people, one was a little girl and several little boys along the way that just needed somebody to throw them a grounder and make them feel good about how they learned to catch it or whatever it was. And that started the relationship that went to the dugout, that went to other things that hopefully I can make the same kind of difference in their lives. My experience, and this would go to you guys because you're professionals, my experience is the great ones, you know, the Ray Robinsons, the Peyton Mannings, the Jason Wittens, Eric Berries, Gerard Mayos, and I could go on and on. The great ones expect to be coached hard. They expect to be the leader. They don't want you to coddle them. And if we did anything good in my time at Tennessee, and I've expressed this to Jeremy, he's got his own way of doing things, but it's absolutely true. When you expect the most from your best, and the best gives it back to you, then you have a culture. Because that young one, that just came to campus. He's all ESPN head, thinks he's God's gift to football. And he's standing there watching you coach Peyton Manning on how to take a snap and get away from center in his third year, or how to move his feet in the pocket to get it out, or Jason Witten, how to catch a ball in his third year, then all of a sudden he can conclude pretty quick, hey, I want to be great too, so therefore I want to be coached hard in a professional way, but hard. Okay, so I can be great too, and all of a sudden now you've got a culture that's doing it. And we did that very, very well while we were at Tennessee, and I think it carries over to our business. If you've gotten to a certain place in your organization and you're in a leadership position, then you should do the things that are the fundamental things the best to make sure those young people that are following you follow you in line. We talked about the national championship game. I love that team. That is one of my favorite teams. Certainly a magical season. I can't sit here and tell you that that's my favorite football team. We had 4 teams, probably 4, that that were better than that team. And if we had the playoff system then that they have now, any 4, or including that team, could have been in the now playoff. Interestingly enough, probably so would have Florida, as the way it turned out. It was unusual to have 2 teams in the same division that good for so long. But none of those were my favorite team either. When I look back at my favorite football team, it was the 1994 team. We had lost Heath Shuler. Heath Shuler was my quarterback in 93. And that 93 team still has offensive records that probably won't be broke, because in 93, we had an offensive team. We didn't try to make first downs. We were trying to score on every play. I mean, we had so much talent on offense, plus we were so bad on defense, that we had to almost score on every play, it seemed like. So 93, Heath decides to leave. He's got 19 million reasons to go to pro football. I got that. And we had this young man named Jerry Colquitt that was our backup quarterback. And honest to goodness, it was really close to whether it was going to be Jerry or Heath. And Heath won the job, and that was the right thing to do, and wonderful for him with all those records and being the second player picked in the draft, period. But nobody knew about Jerry Colquitt. He was good. And we were picked 3rd in the East, not expected to do great. Not only did we lose Heath, we lost some other good players, real good players. So we were picked 3rd in the East, and that team, I've never seen anybody bond around a quarterback like that team did. It was amazing. Had a great summer, great off-season, great two-a-days. And we're opening the college football season on national television in the Rose Bowl against UCLA. And you don't think this young head coach was excited about taking that team out there. It was unbelievable how exciting it was to be able to do that. And we received the toss, or received the ball, and win the toss, receive the ball, and we return it out to about the 25-yard line, make a first down in 3 or 4 plays, and 3 plays. And the 7th play of the UCLA game, Jerry Colquitt tears his knee up. Not out for the game, not out for the season. He can never play football again. We're on the sideline crying, having a really tough time with it. Todd Hilton is our backup quarterback. And I had promised Todd, because Todd was a baseball player. He ended up being going to be a Hall of Famer from the Colorado Rockies. And he kind of figured out that his place in life was going to be in baseball, and I'd figured that out. But I had a senior and Jerry Colquitt, and I had these freshmen, Peyton Manning and Brandon Stewart, and I said, Heath, if you'll just stay out for about 6 weeks and help me get one of these freshmen ready, I promise you won't get hit. Well, hell, I never thought about having to put him in a ball game, So Jerry's hurt and out. Todd goes in the game, does wonderfully. Brings us back. We ended up losing 26-24, but he brought us back, and we were respectable. We go to Georgia the next week. Ran the ball 73 times through 13 passes, actually completed one of them. which was really exciting. And handily beat Georgia, but we had some other injuries. Went to Florida and lost, and then we went to Mississippi State, who were obviously better than, and darn if Todd doesn't get his knee nicked. And he's out for the rest of the ball game, and I thought I'd ruined his career, but it turned out it wasn't very bad. So we're sitting there. We put the freshman in, and you can imagine what happens. We have 5 turnovers, lose to a team that we're better than. And we're 1-3. You do not want to be the head coach at the University of Tennessee and be 1-3. I'm telling you, it's miserable. So we get back to Knoxville, and this would be one of my points of telling this story. The first thing that we did, as I thought about it all the way back home, is we sat down and said, how can we help this football team as a staff, offensively, defensively, and kicking? You write down 3 things on each side of the ball that we can do better to help this football team. And we worked at it. We spent a couple of hours on it, okay? Then I went over to see Coach Dickey, who had been my coach in college, is also now my athletic director, had given me a chance to be the head coach. And I said, Coach, we're 1-3. We've got all these injuries. Lost both of our quarterbacks. We got Washington State coming up. They were really good at that time. Coach, I don't know if we don't beat Washington State, I don't know if we'll win another game. If we don't win another game, are you still going to love me? And he looked at me and said, Philip, we're going to love you, but we're sure going to miss you. So it's crossroads a little bit. So we go back, and I sit down with a team, and this is the best thing that we did, is the first thing out of my mouth was we have sat down as a staff, and these are 3 or 4 things that we can do better to help you. In other words, guys, it's not all your fault. They were sitting there in a defensive mode, tight, looking just ready to get ripped, and everything changed. Everything changed. Their body language changed. The mood of the room changed. And then I said, who are you going to listen to? You're going to listen to the media who thinks we can't coach and you can't play? Or are you going to listen to your mom and dad or girlfriend who thinks it's everybody's fault but yours? Or are you going to listen to us? And we've got 8 games left, and we go win as many of those 8 games because, by gosh, we're Tennessee. And we're going to go to work. And that's my favorite football team. We won 7 of the next 8 football games that we played. But more importantly than that, out of those ashes that we were in, we were 45-5 for the next several years. Out of the ashes, we were 45-5. So the tough times that we have in our life are opportunities if you got the right kind of foundation around you, and we need to understand that every day. Last little story, and it meant a lot to me. I told you I was in a flux as to what I was going to do. Do we have veterans here? I just raise your hands if you're a veteran. Let's thank these guys for their service. R.C. Slocum at Texas A&M and I are good friends. We got to be friends mostly on a USO trip to the Middle East. And these were all war zones. We were in like 6 countries, 6 bases in 5 days. We were all over the place. And I mean, these are walls and barriers and trenches and towers and barbed wire and no straight roads. They were serious business. And I really enjoyed getting to know the leadership of each base. Their focus was, these are our tools, these are our timeline, and this is our objective. And that's kind of how they presented themselves. And then there was the guardsmen that were much more, they're still professional, but much more normal, And then you had those young people that were 18 to 22, with age basically that I would have been coaching them, male and female, that served our country so well. So, I became a bigger fan of our military. But during all that time, R.C. and I are spending all this time together. We come to one particular checkpoint on this base, and this is a God thing. We could have come in on 5 different roads to get to this particular checkpoint. We stop, guy in the tower got a gun on us, 4 Marines walk out with a dog. to check the car and ask us to get out. We give them our passport. And this big, tall Marine standing there, 6'4", about 215 pounds. And, I'm thinking, my God, what a good tight end this kid would have made, Good-looking kid. And just to break the ice, I said, son, where are you from? He said, Coach, I'm from Winchester, Tennessee. He grew up 2 miles from my mother and in our home. And so I took his name and everything and went back and called his mom when I got home. But that's how small our world is anymore. 6,000 miles away, I run into somebody that's 2 miles away. So RC and I are sharing all this time. So now I'm thinking about getting out of coaching or not. Am I going to coach? Am I going to spend time with my grandchildren? Going through all this difficulty. So RC pulls me into we're at a clinic convention. He pulls me into a room and says, I've been looking for you. I want to talk to you about something. And he says, he asked the waitress for a change for $1 bill. She brought him a roll of pennies. He spreads the pennies out. He said, how old are you? And I said, I'm 58. So he took 58 pennies off the table. So I figured out pretty quick, what he's doing. And he says, let's say you live till you're 85. And so he took 15 more pennies off the table. I'm starting, that's not very many pennies left, And he said, those last 5 years aren't going to be great anyway. So he takes 5 more off, and pushes them over here on the side. And he says, that's what you got left. He says, what I would encourage you to do, and this is going to be my closing, is to count your pennies. But along the way, make sure your pennies are counting. Thank you much. Appreciate it.
We've had great honors over the years with great speakers, but as I said before, I think we're all in the presence of a Tennessee legend. All of us who follow the University of Tennessee and Tennessee football are so proud to have been here tonight and hear Coach Fulmer speak. And we want to honor him, Commissioner Perkey, and Commissioner King, and Commissioner Gibbons, Commissioner Mitchell, all up here tonight. There is one symbol of the Tennessee Highway Patrol that lives on no matter what, and that's the hat. And we want to honor Coach Fulmer and hope he'll display this proudly with the symbol of the Tennessee Highway Patrol, the trooper hat, and we present that to you tonight. And thank you for speaking to us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate you.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Now Jessica's coming forward, and we'll start with the enforcement awards. I do want to encourage any of the family members that are here tonight and want to take pictures. They can come up toward the picture area, and our photographers will be taking pictures, but you can take your own personal pictures also. We've got a lot of awards to move through pretty quickly, so when your name is called, please move up here as quickly as possible to accept your award, and we'll keep the program moving pretty quick. So thank you. Here you go, Jessica.
On the back of your programs, you'll see the address for the Department of Safety's Flickr page. All of the pictures from tonight will be posted up there, so probably be in the next couple days. So everything that Lieutenant Shelton's taken over here, all the really nice photos and casual photos, you'll find all that online. And after the ceremony, we have a hospitality suite. It's 2:30. We hope that you all can join us for a little while. Anybody that wants to stop up before you leave, or if you're staying here, feel free to do so. We'll give the awards the order they're in your program. We'll start with the dispatchers of the year, the district troopers of the year, then the top 10 enforcement awards for hazardous moving violations, seatbelt citations issued, and DUI arrests. Dispatcher Christy Pickens joined the department just over a year ago. On April 25, 2017, not long after being released from the training program, she received a call from a man traveling on Interstate 75. He and his family were being held at gunpoint by his brother, who was driving the vehicle. Christy remained calm while keeping troopers updated on the situation and reassuring the caller that help was on the way. Within just 15 minutes, troopers conducted a traffic stop. A firearm, along with several empty magazine cartridges and a machete, were found in the vehicle. The driver was taken into custody and the passengers were released. For her efforts that contributed to this positive outcome, Christy Pickens is the Knoxville District Dispatcher of the Year. Dispatcher Joseph Cook was hired in January of 2017 with no prior dispatch experience, and he has committed himself to learning everything he can about this job. In training, he took constructive criticism with ease. He made study material to help learn the job when he wasn't at work, and even offered to share this material with new employees. He arrives at work early, always obliges when he is called to come in and cover a shift last minute, and he is willing to swap shifts with coworkers when asked. In his 1 year with the THP, he has dispatched several pursuits and numerous stressful situations, handling them all as professional as a seasoned dispatcher would. He is a team player and always puts the radio room first. The Chattanooga District Dispatcher of the Year is Joseph Cook. Dispatcher Morgan Callis has served the Nashville Dispatch Center since May 2015. She has excelled as a certified training officer and has received multiple compliments from her previous trainees in reference to how great of a trainer she is. She provides them with extra activities to ensure knowledge in all areas of the job, and she frequently reviews the training material to guarantee that every dispatcher in training is up to date on the standard operating procedures. She reviews daily logbooks to make sure every dispatcher at the center is recording information accurately, and she stays up to date on both dispatcher and trooper policies. For her dedication to building a strong communications team and providing the best customer service, Morgan Callis is the Nashville District Dispatcher of the Year. Bobby Arnold is a 7-year veteran dispatcher. He is one of the top CTOs in the center, always going the extra mile to help those struggling to pass the program. On May 6, 2017, Bobby assisted in the capture of a homicide subject wanted for first-degree murder who was traveling into Tennessee on Interstate 55. He issued a bolo to troopers in the Memphis and Jackson districts. The cell phone company placed a ping on the suspect's phone, but no Memphis trooper was able to make contact with the vehicle due to its speed and the delay of the ping. With Bobby's assistance, Jackson district troopers conducted a traffic stop on the vehicle and took the suspect into custody without incident. The Jackson District Dispatcher of the Year is Bobby Arnold. Trooper Andy Clendenin has a strong work ethic that inspires all of his peers to work toward and achieve the goal of reducing fatalities. In 2017, he arrested 55 impaired drivers, issued 78 distracted driving citations, and identified and cited 907 unrestrained drivers. In total, he issued 1,836 moving and non-moving citations. He exemplifies the qualities that we expect of all state troopers. He performs his duties without question, understands the goals of the department, and implements his personal plan of action to make the roads safer for the general public each day. The Knoxville District Trooper of the Year is Trooper Andy Clendenin. Trooper David McVeigh began his career with the Tennessee Highway Patrol in 1995. He is a field training officer and a member of the strike team. In 2017, he led the Chattanooga District in hazardous moving violations with a total of 1,399 citations issued. His work in this enforcement area is unparalleled. On September 9th and 10th, 2017, the Ironman World Championship was held in Chattanooga. The two-day event brought over 3,000 athletes and 1,000 more visitors to the area. Trooper McVeigh served as the liaison between the Falcon Unit, Ironman officials, and local law enforcement. The Chattanooga District Trooper of the Year is Trooper David McVeigh. Trooper Andrew Simonek is highly regarded among his peers and is one of the top leaders in enforcement activity for the district. In 2017, he issued 521 seatbelt violations, 11 CRD violations, and made 32 DUI arrests. He issued 1,425 hazardous moving citations and 990 non-moving citations, for a total of 2,415 citations. He recovered 5 stolen vehicles, made 47 arrests. He investigated 161 motor vehicle crashes, including 3 fatals and 2 vehicular assaults. He is a member of the National District Strike Team and was utilized frequently throughout the year to provide support for the protests and civil unrest at the Capitol. The Nashville District Trooper of the Year is Trooper Andrew Simonek. Trooper Robert Barham is very versatile in his enforcement efforts. Last year, he arrested 19 impaired drivers, one of those being a felony charge. He also made 2 other felony arrests. He issued 1,018 seatbelt violations, 83 CRD citations, and 99 due care citations. He issued 397 moving violations and 1,465 non-moving violations. He also wrote 109 warning citations, invested 1 fatal crash, 12 injury crashes, 30 non-injury crashes, assisted 67 stranded motorists, and completed 44 Level 3 inspections. Although he is stationed in one of the most rural counties in the district, his activity rivals that of troopers in more populated areas. The Memphis District Trooper of the Year is Trooper Robert Barham. Trooper Andrew Connors excels in all areas of enforcement, but his felony and misdemeanor drug enforcement is top in the district. 2 separate cases last year highlight that work. The first was a traffic stop resulting in the seizure of $2,287, 4 pounds of marijuana, Suboxone pills, and drug paraphernalia. The second stop led to the seizure of $4,077, a vehicle, and 12 grams of heroin. He also led Troop C with 50 DUI arrests and 25 felony arrests, produced 18 felony and 30 misdemeanor drug cases, and conducted 25 felony and 49 misdemeanor arrests. He issued 820 total citations and graduated from Canine Handler School. He accomplished all this despite being on admin leave for 2 months due to a justified use of force incident. The Fall Branch District Trooper of the Year is Trooper Andrew Connors. Trooper Michael Loftus completed over 200 commercial vehicle inspections in 2017. He had a 36% out-of-service rate for drivers and 16% out-of-service rate for vehicles. He has been the top inspector for the Cookeville District for the last 10 years and has received several awards for his performance in this enforcement area. He issued a total of 363 moving and 516 non-moving violations, arrested 27 impaired drivers, worked 76 crashes, made 50 physical arrests, 22 of them being felonies, made 15 felony drug cases, 111 misdemeanor drug cases, and recovered 6 stolen vehicles. He made multiple seizures last year, including drugs, money, and weapons. He always looks beyond the traffic stop. The Cookeville District Trooper of the Year is Trooper Michael Loftus. Trooper Joshua McNeil graduated from the Academy in December of 2016. Having worked the road for just 1 full year, he has already become the most hardworking and dedicated trooper within his troop and one of the very best in the Lawrenceburg District. In 2017, he issued a total of 3,804 citations, which was 26% of his troops' total activity. He issued 1,284 moving citations, 1,902 seatbelt citations, made 26 DUI arrests, issued 91 distracted driving citations, made 41 physical arrests, conducted 103 commercial vehicle inspections, and investigated 110 traffic crashes. All of this was accomplished in the most rural parts of the district. His focus and determination have begun to change the dynamics of his troop. The Lawrenceburg District Trooper of the Year is Trooper Joshua McNeil. Trooper Caleb Cooper is a 5-year veteran trooper assigned to Henry County. In 2017, he was one of the district's top DUI enforcers and led his troop in total arrests. He made 30 DUI arrests, 49 total arrests, and issued 553 seatbelt citations. He accomplished all this while training at least 3 days a month with the Special Operations Tactical Response Team. He is a field training officer, licensed EMT, reconstructionist, and is working on his master's degree. He worked several days as a forward-looking infrared radar operator with Pilot Sergeant Lee Russell, during which time he directly influenced the recovery of a mother and child whose boat had overturned on the Buffalo River at night. For the second year in a row, the Jackson District Trooper of the Year is Trooper Caleb Cooper. Sergeant Billy Smith contributed directly to the success of many programs in 2017. He was instrumental in deploying eCitation. He managed the computer-aided dispatch update. He led the statewide deployment of the mobile dispatch solution. He successfully updated the electronic crime reporting system, led the test and evaluation program of portable tablets to improve the trooper's mobile office. He also led the testing evaluation of the mobile wireless router devices and found a solution to improve weak and non-existing signals across the state. He always puts the needs of the field troopers first and represents the highest level performance and training for THP cadets, supervisors, and local law enforcement. The Administrative District Trooper of the Year is Sergeant Billy Smith. Trooper Mark Werdeman began his career with the Tennessee Highway Patrol in 2015. He's assigned to the Giles County Scales Complex in the Lawrenceburg District. Last year, he conducted 827 Level 1 and 67 Level 2 commercial vehicle inspections. He placed 63 drivers and 467 vehicles out of service. That's an out-of-service rate of 7.04% for drivers and 52.23% for vehicles, which is well above the national average of 5.08% and 20.59%, respectively. He issued 687 citations and 91 overweight assessments. And also made 9 arrests consisting of 3 impaired drivers, 1 felony drug, and 5 misdemeanor drug arrests. Commercial Vehicle Enforcement Trooper of the Year is Trooper Mark Werdeman. Since joining CERT Team 4 in 2010, Trooper Shane Moore has investigated over 160 cases and has become one of the strongest investigators on the CERT unit statewide. He investigated 26 cases last year. He mentors young troopers with their investigations and educates emergency personnel on scene management. On September 19th, he assisted in the investigation of a fatality crash in which it appeared the front seat occupant of a vehicle was killed when the driver failed to stop at a stop sign. However, Trooper Moore's investigation revealed the driver's failure to stop was an intentional act and that after the collision, the vehicle occupants moved the front seat passenger into the driver's seat in order to escape blame. The Investigator of the Year is Trooper Paul Shane Moore. Trooper Beck Campbell joined Interdiction Plus in 2017. He made 40 felony arrests and 20 misdemeanor arrests ranging from identity theft to drug trafficking. He led the state in marijuana seizures totaling over 695 pounds and also seized 9 kilograms of cocaine. Some of his most significant cases include a traffic stop conducted which resulted in the seizure of 5 kilograms of cocaine inside a hidden compartment, a traffic stop that led to the seizure of 28 bales of marijuana totaling 691 pounds, and a traffic stop that resulted in the discovery of thousands of dollars of electronics stolen from a local Walmart. The Interdiction Plus team and the Highway Patrol has drawn national recognition thanks in part to his successful casework. The Interdiction Trooper of the Year is Trooper Rhett Campbell. As a law enforcement agency responsible for ensuring the safety of motorists traveling on Tennessee roadways, it is our responsibility to place an emphasis on behaviors that contribute to injury, crashes, and fatalities. Our leadership is tasked with developing enforcement strategies to combat those behaviors. Impaired driving, failure to wear a seatbelt, and hazardous behaviors such as speeding and distracted driving are all factors that play a common role in injury and fatal crashes. Placing an emphasis on these areas of enforcement has resulted in a decline in fatal and injury-related crashes caused as a result of these behaviors. We'll continue to recognize the top 10 troopers in each of these categories for their outstanding enforcement efforts. Tonight's enforcement awards begin with the top 10 troopers who issued the most citations for hazardous moving violations in 2017. The trooper ranked 10th overall is one of 4 troopers who just completed their first full calendar year working the road, and this is his first time being recognized. He issued a total of 1,147 hazardous moving citations. From the Memphis District, congratulations, Trooper Joseph Brewer. Ranked in the 9th position, the Knoxville District Trooper issued 1,241 citations for hazardous moving violations last year. He accomplished this all prior to sustaining an injury that put him out of work in September for the remainder of 2017. He has been one of the top 10 troopers in this area of enforcement for the past 5 years. Join me in congratulating now retired Trooper Gary Snow. The trooper who issued the 8th most citations is from the Jackson District. He issued 1,242 hazardous moving citations. Congratulations, Trooper Roger Ivy. Graduate of Cadet Class 1216, this next trooper has literally just finished his first year on the road. He issued 1,284 citations, ranking him 7th overall. He was recognized as the Lawrenceburg District Trooper of the Year. Congratulations, Trooper Joshua McNeil. With a total of 1,366 hazardous moving citations issued, this Chattanooga District Trooper is in the 6th position. This is his 3rd consecutive year in the top 10 for this area of enforcement. Congratulations, Trooper Nathan Ailey. Also from the Chattanooga District, this next trooper issued 1,399 citations for hazardous moving violations and ranked 5th statewide. He was selected as the Chattanooga District Trooper of the Year. Congratulations, Trooper David McVeigh. A graduate of Cadet Class 716, this next trooper issued 1,425 citations, working his first full year on the road, ranking him 4th overall. His efforts in 2017 earned him the title of Nashville District Trooper of the Year. Congratulations, Trooper Andrew Simonek. Another 716 classmate earned his first spot in the top 10 enforcement awards in 2017. He issued 1,564 citations for hazardous moving violations, which ranked him third statewide. He is from the Lawrenceburg District. Congratulations, Trooper Ethan Purcell. From the Jackson District, this trooper issued 1,801 citations, ranking him second. He finished first overall in this area of enforcement the past 2 years. Congratulations, Trooper Terry Mullen. Taking over the top spot for the most citations issued for hazardous moving violations in 2017 is the trooper who finished second only to Trooper Mulholland the previous year. He issued 2,089 citations last year, which is nearly double what he issued in 2016. He is from the Nashville District. Please join me in congratulating Trooper Mark Blasco. As a result of the continued emphasis on seatbelt enforcement, unrestrained fatalities continue to decrease. In 2010, more than half of the people killed in motor vehicle crashes were not wearing seatbelts. 8 years later, the unrestrained fatality rate has decreased from 54% to 41.7%. They say hard work pays off. Well, your dedication to changing driver behaviors and increasing seatbelt compliance has had a drastic effect on the number of people killed in traffic crashes not wearing seatbelts. You are making a difference. The troopers in the area of seatbelt enforcement were identified by combining the total number of seatbelt and child restraint device citations written during 2017. The trooper ranked 10th overall, issued 970 citations last year. He was recognized as the Knoxville District Trooper of the Year. Congratulations, Trooper Andy Clendenin. In the 9th position is a Cookeville District Trooper who is finishing in the top 10 in seatbelt enforcement for the 3rd consecutive year. He issued 1,055 seatbelt citations. Congratulations, Trooper Joshua Sparkman. The 8th most seatbelt and CRD citations were issued by a trooper from the Lawrenceburg District, who was recently promoted. With 1,081 citations, please congratulate Sergeant Michael Kilpatrick. This next trooper issued 1,091 seatbelt citations last year, ranking him 7th statewide. His work ethic and versatile enforcement efforts earned him the title of 2017 Memphis District Trooper of the Year. Congratulations, Trooper Robert Barham. Ranked sixth in the state is the Nashville District Trooper who finished 2nd overall in seatbelt enforcement the previous 2 years. Congratulations, Trooper Matthew Priest. The trooper in the 5th position was also ranked 5th last year, and he has finished in the top 10 of seatbelt enforcement 4 out of the last 5 years. He is from the Jackson District. 1,506 citations issued. Please congratulate Trooper Clint Todd. Also from the Jackson District is the trooper who issued the 4th most seatbelt and CRD citations in 2017. He issued 1,629 citations. Congratulations, Trooper Sean Riley. The Memphis District Trooper who issued the third most seatbelt and CRD citations last year is unable to join us tonight due to military obligations. Captain Johnson will accept this award on his behalf and present it to him upon his return to work. For the 1,820 citations he issued last year, let's give a round of applause to Trooper Michael Brown. Finishing second in this area of enforcement is just one of many accomplished recognized tonight for this Lawrenceburg District Trooper. He issued a total of 1,902 seatbelt and CRD citations in 2017, which accounted for 39% of his troops' total seatbelt activity. Congratulations, Trooper Joshua McNeil. The trooper who issued the most seatbelt and CRD citations was ranked 7th overall the previous year. The 2,226 citations he issued in 2017 was a 54% increase in seatbelt and CRD activity from the year before. He is from the Cookeville District. Please join me in congratulating Trooper Willie Allison. Troopers continue to commit themselves to removing impaired drivers from Tennessee roadways, and the citizens and visitors of this state have benefited from it. Alcohol-impaired crashes were down 5% last year. Alcohol-impaired fatalities continue to decrease as well, down 4% from last year and 9% from the previous year. Please know that your DUI enforcement efforts have saved countless lives. The top 10 DUI enforcement awards recognizes 11 troopers, 5 of which were in the top 10 last year, 3 veteran troopers, and 3 younger troopers for whom 2017 was their first full year working the road. The first trooper we will recognize in DUI enforcement is from the Jackson District. He arrested 61 impaired drivers last year. Congratulations, Trooper Adam Potts. There's a two-way tie for the 9th overall spot in DUI enforcement. They each arrested 63 impaired drivers in 2017. The first is a Cadet Class 1216 graduate, and the second is a 20-year veteran trooper recently promoted to sergeant. Congratulations to Nashville District Trooper David Green, and from the Memphis District, Sergeant Anthony Sharon. Ranked 8th overall is a trooper from the Nashville District. In his first full year working the road, he made 76 DUI arrests. Congratulations, Trooper Jason Ayers. The next trooper we recognize is also from the Nashville District. He arrested 80 impaired drivers last year, ranking him 7th in this area of enforcement. Congratulations, Trooper John Mark Tarr. The trooper with the 6th most DUI arrests is no stranger to the top 10 DUI enforcement category. He has been recognized for this award 4 out of the 5 full years he has worked the road since graduating from the THP Academy in May 2012. He was the top DUI enforcer 3 out of 4 of those years. Despite serving as an adjunct academy instructor for a good part of the year, he still managed 81 DUI arrests in 2017. From the Chattanooga District, please congratulate Trooper Stoney Morton. In the 5th position this year is a Knoxville District Trooper who just finished his first full year working the road. He made an impressive 101 DUI arrests. Congratulations, Trooper Matt Raines. The top 4 troopers in DUI enforcement have all been in the top 10 for the past 2 years. One of those years, they were also the top 4 troopers. The trooper with the 4th most DUI arrests is from the Memphis District. After graduating from cadet school in June of 2015, his first 6 months of activity earned him the spot in DUI enforcement for the year. For the 3rd year in a row, we honor him for his efforts. With 102 DUI arrests, we congratulate Trooper Brandon Rogers. Just as his classmate Trooper Rogers did, this next trooper hit the ground running and made the top 10 DUI enforcement in his first 6 months, followed by 2 consecutive full years in the top 10. He is from the Nashville District. He arrested 106 impaired drivers last year, ranking him 3rd overall statewide. Congratulations, Trooper Kenneth White. The top 2 troopers are both from the Lawrenceburg District. Together, they arrested 243 impaired drivers last year, which accounts for 22% of the total DUI arrests made by their entire district. This first trooper made 112 DUI arrests and finished 2017 in the 2nd spot. Congratulations, Trooper Barry Qualls. The trooper with the most DUI arrests in 2017 has been in the top 10 DUI enforcement every full year that he has worked the road since graduating from the academy in July of 2013, finishing no less than the 5th spot each time. That makes 4 consecutive years in the top 10. He was recognized as the overall Trooper of the Year for 2015. In 2017, he arrested 131 impaired drivers, earning him the title of Top DUI Enforcer for the THP. Let's give a big round of applause to Trooper Chad Staggs. That concludes the Enforcement Awards portion of our program. The next awards will be the Trooper Fitness Challenge Award presented by Captain Stephen Lowry, the Training Division, followed by a new award being presented by members of Northwestern School of Police Staff and Command Class 419. And finally, Colonel Trott will conclude this evening's ceremony with the Lifesaver Awards, Achievement Awards, and presentation of the overall Dispatcher and Trooper of the Year Awards.
Good evening. In 2014, the department implemented a fitness event into each in-service session. All commission members participate in the fitness event. The first time that we had this event in 2014, it was a walk-run, voluntary. From that time, we have transitioned into utilizing different aspects of our job, such as defensive tactics, operating our vehicle in an emergency capacity, and deploying our weapon and engaging targets. This fitness event was brought into our training to instill a mindset of fitness into our troopers. We live pretty much a sedentary lifestyle, and that'll take a toll on us over the years of our career. To combat that, we have to push ourselves to maintain a high level of physical fitness. In 2016, we decided to recognize the most fit trooper that we have in our department by awarding them the Trooper Fitness Challenge Award trophy. This year, for the 2017 Trooper Fitness Challenge, we had 3 of the top scorers from each district come and compete at the training center in the Trooper Fitness Challenge. The top 3 winners this year were Trooper Alex Perry, Trooper Joel Taylor, and tonight to receive the award for his team is Trooper Matthew Cole. He had the highest or the fastest team of all troopers this year. Trooper Cole is from the Fall Branch District, and his captain, Stephen Street, is here to receive the district's award that will be displayed at the headquarters. Now, I caution you, Captain Street, that if your team doesn't win this next year, you have to bring the trophy to this award ceremony and turn it over to the next captain.
We have all of them. That's not it. Okay. Good evening. From July 27th to September 29th, 2017, 28 law enforcement supervisors from 5 states and 13 agencies attended the 419th class of Northwestern University's School of Police Staff and Command at the THP Training Center. One of our assignments, every Staff and Command class must complete a selection of a legacy project. Many worthy projects were discussed, but one stood out above all others. You see, in 2 weeks that we had to select that project, the out-of-state and the in-state members of our class were able to experience firsthand the type of leader Captain Bigham was through his kindness, selflessness, and willingness to help others. Many have heard stories about him through their coworkers that have attended the Staff and Command classes in previous years. With knowledge of his pending retirement, our class knew his legacy needed to carry on for future generations of troopers. Captain Robert Bigham had been a trooper for the Tennessee Highway Patrol for 31 years and an instructor at the THP Training Center for over 20. Captain Bigham cultivated and fostered an atmosphere of compassion, camaraderie, and cohesiveness that can only be described as legendary. Captain Bigham's exceptional ability as an educator of law enforcement over the past 20 years, his personal initiative, and his unwavering devotion to duty were all in keeping with the highest traditions of the Tennessee Highway Patrol. In his honor, we created the Captain Robert G. Bigham Leadership Award, and this award will be presented to a trooper each year who exhibits the THP core values, community service, and peer leadership, which meets or exceeds the high moral and ethical standards for which he has established for all troopers to follow during his tenure on the Tennessee Highway Patrol. You see, we all meet the THP core values, or at least you better. That leaves volunteerism and peer leadership. Many troopers volunteer in one way or another. It may be through church, through mentoring, working in soup kitchens, or holiday events. They don't do it for recognition. They do it to help others. They do it to benefit others and to provide opportunities for others to excel or to simply to survive in the world we live in today. We look for troopers, regardless of rank, that are there for their fellow troopers, that answer that call when questions arise, and provide that extra push to make it through that bad day. To be that person that you can count on when there's no one else. To be that trooper that you want to be one day. In some ways, this award was created to remind each of us
that the men and women we work beside each day are our brothers and sisters. We need to get to know them, just as the troopers have before us. We are all family, and we are all here to help one another. Take a look around. Get to know the troopers, the supervisors that you work with. You might find out that there's something special about that person, something spectacular. You may find the next Robert Bigham. It's not often that we have an award that is created in someone's honor who is still here to see it and experience the effects that it has on others. And for that, we're grateful. To present tonight's recipient with the Captain Robert G. Bigham Leadership Award, it's my honor to introduce to you retired Captain Robert Bigham.
Thank you. Good evening. Like all nominees for this award, tonight's recipient has no idea he was nominated. He received a majority vote from Class 419. That is a class made up of 12 THP supervisors, 1 Tennessee Department of Safety and Homeland Security agent, and 15 out-of-state and in-state troopers, officers, and deputies. This recipient leads from the front as he has been recognized for his enforcement efforts in the past few years in hazardous moving violations. His actions are known by few co-workers and would rather stand in the background than take credit for his tremendously generous actions. He is a humble man who never brags or boasts about his involvement and often allocates credit to others that assist him. He truly cares with a pure and compassionate heart. His co-workers have found him to be extraordinary and provided examples of selfless actions. An example, in court one day, he won a conviction on a traffic offense. But after hearing of the woman's financial situation, he left the courthouse, went to the grocery store to buy groceries and pet food for the family. He then returned to the courthouse and loaded the items into the woman's vehicle. Each year, he contacts the principals of elementary schools in his community and finds out which children would not have a Christmas without assistance. He then donates hundreds of dollars in toys to those different elementary schools for the children in need. But you see, he doesn't stop here. This is a man so kind-hearted and full of compassion and love for others. On 2 separate occasions, he hosted 2 large events for children that had irreversible diseases whom have now passed. This trooper has purchased numerous items for a young boy at church and stayed in complete contact with the boy's parents. Along with these actions, he took additional troopers with him to the Rock Springs Elementary School and honored a child there as an honorary state trooper. Sergeant David Osborne dressed up as Tennessee Bear and presented a certificate to the young boy along with several comforting items that he and his wife, Lieutenant Christy Osborne, had purchased. Last year, Sergeant David Osborne started a toy drive in honor of a child that had passed away for the Fall Branch District of the Tennessee Highway Patrol and involved all troops in the entire district. The total collected toys valued around $7,000, and he had them delivered to the Niswonger Children's Hospital in Johnson City, Tennessee, along with the boy's father. He is not only a man of great compassion and a heart, he is also a United States Marine Corps veteran that donates annually to the Wounded Warrior Project and takes great pride in his state and country. It is my honor to present the first Captain Robert G. Bigham Leadership Award to Sergeant David Osborne. All right. Congratulations. I'm very proud of you. Yes, sir.
Now, Vinny, when you give out awards, you got to take your stuff with you, man. Now for the Lifesaver Awards. These are awards that are submitted by the district captain to the command staff where the captain feels the action of the trooper actually saved a human life. We read the narratives on all these actions and we vote as a group and award the Lifesavers Award. The first award, in October of 2017, Trooper Russell Bernard was dispatched to a crash with injuries on I-40. Trooper Bernard arrived on the scene first and observed two vehicles on the shoulder. One vehicle had struck a deer, and the deer landed on the windshield, breaking through, striking the driver. Trooper Bernard saw the driver covered in blood. Trooper Bernard saw a small laceration above the driver's left eye and saw a large puncture wound above the collarbone at the base of the neck. The large puncture wound was still bleeding. Trooper Bernard went to his patrol vehicle, retrieved supplies to help control the bleeding until EMS arrived. He held pressure on the driver's neck while speaking to her and saw the large hole in the driver's seat just below the headrest and saw the deer antlers on the floor in the car. Trooper Bernard determined that the deer antlers had punctured the person's neck during the crash. He held pressure on her neck, controlling the bleeding until the rescue squad arrived and transferred care to Dixon EMS. He was advised the following day by the driver's mother that the antler had damaged an artery and required emergency surgery to repair. The quick actions of Trooper Bernard at this crash scene saved the victim's life. The Lifesaver Award goes to Trooper Russell Bernard. The next Lifesaver Award, the event occurred August 2017 at approximately 2:30 a.m. Trooper Terrence Grand responded to a CMV crash on I-24 in Marion County. The trailer detached from the tractor and overturned, blocking both lanes of the interstate. While the wrecker service was on the scene maneuvering at the overturned trailer, one of the wrecker service employees sustained a very critical injury to their arm. Without hesitation, Trooper Gann rendered aid to the injured victim and applied a tourniquet. Trooper Gann then placed the victim in his patrol unit and transported him to the emergency room at Park Ridge West in Chattanooga. Later that day, the doctor treated the victim, told family members that the quick actions of Trooper Gann saved the victim's life. The Lifesaver Award goes to Trooper Terrence Gann. On July 5th, 2017, Lieutenant Brad Lund happened to be flying in the area of Cummings Falls and rescued several people from quickly rising waters. But there were 3 subjects stranded on a rock island in the middle of rising rapids. Lieutenant Lund returned to the hangar to transition to the Huey helicopter and needed an air crew for a hoist rescue. Lieutenant Ossie Thaxter, Sergeants Denny Mitchell, and Michael Cummings responded to the hangar to assist with the rescue. Upon arrival to the location, Lieutenant Thaxter was designated as the crew chief, Sergeant Denny Mitchell was the rescue specialist, and Sergeant Cummings was the system operator. Sergeant Cummings utilized the hoist cable to lower Sergeant Mitchell onto the rock island from the helicopter, which was hovering within feet of rushing water, canyon walls, and a waterfall. Once he was on the ground, Sergeant Cummings lowered the rescue basket out to the ground. At one at a time, Sergeant Mitchell and Cummings hoisted the subjects into the Huey. Once all 3 subjects were safely brought into the cabin of the Huey and secured by seatbelts, Sergeant Cummings then lowered the cable out to Sergeant Mitchell and brought him back into the cabin of the Huey. Lieutenant Lund then flew the subjects to the staging area and dropped them off for medical treatment. The exceptional skill set, courage, and trust among the air crew to work within feet of rushing water, canyon walls, and a waterfall directly contributed to the preservation of life for these 3 Tennesseans. The Lifesavers Awards goes to Lieutenant Brad Lund, Lieutenant Ossie Thaxter, Sergeant Michael Cummings, and Sergeant Denny Mitchell. Let's please give another round of applause to all our Lifesavers Award winners. We are recognizing a lot of great work tonight for our dispatchers and our state troopers. I want to take an opportunity to recognize a few people that have made a great contribution to success that we've experienced and enhanced our organization. I'll remind people who might have heard this before how these awards were created. When we vote for Trooper and Dispatcher of the Year, we receive nominations from the captains in the field, and it's a popular vote of the command staff. Sometimes I'm on the winning side of that vote, sometimes I'm on the losing side of that vote. So I decided to create my own awards where I would be sure to not be outvoted. So these are my Colonel's Achievement Awards for people who have contributed to the success of the THP. The first award winner goes to a 40-plus year employee of the department. He is definitely the kind of person you want on your team and your side of any issue. He gives us instant credibility with legislators and government officials because of his hard work, experience, and knowledge. Successes we enjoy at the legislature with different bills and budget issues are directly related to his sterling reputation. There is no one in state government that the commissioner and I want on our side when answering tough questions than the general counsel and deputy commissioner of the department. The Colonel's Achievement Award goes to Deputy Commissioner Roger Hutto. Several years ago, our school bus inspection program became a critical issue with audit findings and questions from legislators about the validity of our program. We are tasked with inspecting every school bus and daycare bus each year in Tennessee with a small staff. That can be as many as 15,000 inspections per year. We needed to modernize our inspection system and motivate our employees to do more and do better with this critical issue. In recent years, the safety of school buses have become more critical, and high-profile fatality crashes in Knoxville and Chattanooga have pushed this issue to the front page of the headlines of most newspapers. One person has been a constant in our school bus safety program over the years. He leads what is now a model program which is recognized as one of the best in child safety. He understands every mechanical and safety device on a school bus and is widely known source of information for legislators and government officials. This person makes a difference in safety of Tennessee children, not to mention a decorated offensive lineman for the University of Tennessee teams during the 1990s. And we didn't give you this award because Coach Fulmer was here, Ray, but it certainly works out great. The Colonel's Achievement Award goes to Lieutenant Ray Robinson. There are some people that just have a special feeling about this job and this uniform, and it shows every day that they work. People in my position have a special appreciation for that type, whether it's conducting a safety program for school children, conducting a safety inspection for a truck or school bus, organizing a recruiting effort, attracting the future of the THP, working the road on a holiday weekend, or responding as a PIO to a serious crash or incident. This person is all in. I've never called upon him when he hasn't gone above and beyond what we've asked. He has always put the THP first above himself, and I want to recognize him for his special efforts. The Colonel's Achievement Award goes to Lieutenant John Hartman. In a long career, like I've had, you meet people along the way at in-service or special schools or assignments that impress you with their professionalism, demeanor, and dedication to duty. During my time advancing up the career ladder, I met a trooper and ultimately a young sergeant that cared about the THP and the people he worked with. At times, I can remember him being criticized for caring too much about the welfare of his employees. He approached the work we do in such a professional and analytical way that I knew he would be a benefit to our organization and my administration. We chose him as an administrative lieutenant to learn how to run a district, which he ultimately did very well. This past year, in our efforts to continually train our supervisors to be better leaders, we entrusted him to be a big part of the lieutenant's leadership training program across the state. He now leads one of our field operations bureaus as a major, and their enforcement and fatality reduction work is second to none. The Colonel's Achievement Award goes to Major Jim Hutchinson. Now it's time for the District of the Year Award. Friendly competition between districts is a good thing that makes us all better. This year's District of the Year finished near the top of almost all enforcement categories. The winner will receive the District of the Year flag, which is over there to my left, and an award for the district and a Colonel's Achievement Award for the district captain. This district finished second in total DUI arrest, first in hazardous moving violations, first in distracted driving violations, first in non-moving violations, first in seatbelt and CRD citations, and first in total citations. They reduced their unrestrained fatality rate from 56% to 39%. And as always, they have a strong commercial vehicle inspection and enforcement program. They were tied with one other district for the lowest raw number of fatalities across the state. Quite honestly, the lieutenant colonels, the majors, and I are amazed at the continued strong performance year after year. I would classify the district captain as one of our best leaders. We tried to give this award to someone else, in all honesty. We tried to give it to someone else, but we just could not justify it. For the third year in a row, the District of the Year is Lawrenceburg, and the Colonel's Achievement Award goes to Captain Wayne Sellers. Now it's my honor to announce the statewide 2017 Dispatcher of the Year. They will receive a beautiful trophy, a necklace or pendant from Jostens signifying their recognition. This THP Dispatcher of the Year for her work in many stressful situations, including a driver holding a woman and children hostage at gunpoint driving on I-75, and her overall work ethic is Christy Oakley from Knoxville. As we announce the statewide Trooper of the Year, I would like to invite the previous 6 winners of the Trooper of the Year award to please join me on stage. Lieutenant Dwayne Stanford, Sergeant Vinnie Tarosi, Sergeant Nathan Hall, Trooper Chad Staggs, Trooper Michael Sutherland, and Trooper Jason Johnson. These people represent the best of the best, and now one more will join that fraternity. It is a great honor to announce the 2017 Trooper of the Year for the THP. The winner receives a beautiful trophy, a Trooper of the Year ring, and a trip to the IACP International Convention in Orlando with the command staff. For his year-round work in our enforcement priorities and life-saving efforts have made his assignment area much safer place to live, work, and drive. The 2017 Trooper of the Year is Joshua McNeil from Lawrenceburg. As we finish up tonight, I just want to say thank you for everybody being here tonight. I thank all the troopers for their efforts over my tenure as colonel, and the commissioner, I'm sure, echoes those same thoughts. Let's express a round of applause to our great keynote speaker tonight and guest, Coach Philip Fulmer. Thank you to the retired people and special guests that we had visit us tonight, Commissioners Gibbons, Mitchell, King, thank you for being here. It means a lot to us. Y'all drive safely and have a great night. Thank you.